Sadie the Wheaton Terrier also had a problem with running away. So I went to visit Sadie, who had never listened to her owner. Sadie.
It's beautiful.
Hi.
How are you, ma'am?
Shoshana?
Cesar Millan. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, great pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, well, thank you. So.
And this is Sadie.
Okay.
Usually she jumps. She's not jumping on you.
Right. They don't jump on anything that is a leader significant or authority figure significant.
Yeah.
Right? So we, the human being, when we see somebody that is an authority figure, we don't misbehave around. Right? So normally, we know because they're wearing a badge, or they're wearing a certain suit, or they're wearing a certain outfit. That's how we know they're authority figure. Animals know that you are authority figure just by the way you behave.
Oh my gosh. So, because the Wheatons have this thing, it's called the Wheaton greeting. And they just, when they meet people, they jump up. And then when somebody acknowledges them, you know, they stop. But I can't believe she didn't even move.
But you know, the Jack Russell people say the same thing about Jack Russells.
That's how we accept it.
Exactly.
This is okay behavior.
That's right. Because we didn't do it, right? But that's not my truth.
Okay.
That's just the reaction that happens around dogs that can easily jump.
See, if I open up this door, one of her issues is she bolts out the front
All right,
door.
so let's open door. And ask Wheaton Terrier, Sadie.
Oh, you missed the fence.
But
Sadie,
it's not.
come on.
Oh, let's practice that again. All right, so let's do it again. Yeah. I got it.
Sadie.
Oh,
Come here.
this is pretty bad.
Come here. Come on. Good girl. Uh-oh. Sadie.
This is really bad. You got it?
I got it.
Okay. Yep. Bad Sadie. Okay. Let's go all over again. Hey. So after her, going away and, meeting the whole neighborhood through fences and all that stuff, that means this dog has no boundaries, So we are really in an environment where the dog has no rules, no boundaries, no limitations. So we apply the first rule, which is no jumping people. That went really good. Then when we went over to the next exercise, which opening the door, and allowing the dog to be in front to a certain stance, that's boundaries. But she has no boundaries, so she can actually go as far as she wants to go. Now, what I'm doing here is creating a consequence for what she did. So after her going in, to those 3 different homes, this is the consequence. Now the dog is relating that what she did is unwanted by me. Of course, the owner have to do the same thing. It's a consequence from misbehaving, and this is the consequence here. A lot of people, what they will do, they will send a dog into a timeout, right? A timeout is not a consequence in the animal world. This is a consequence in the animal world because the dominant one addresses himself to a follower right there. So it's not that I'm being harsh on it, it's just I disagree with what she did. So she has to stay in that state until I release her from it, so I can practice this exercise again.
I wanted to intensify the challenge. I wanted Sadie to stay at the door, and I was going to groom her as well, something Shoshana was not able to do.
And we're gonna practice it here. We're gonna practice the, the grooming part of it so we can do two exercises at once. The dog is learning the door open doesn't mean, run away. And at the same time, we're gonna practice brushing the dog without the dog moving back and forth. And it's not a game.
See?
Okay. Shh. She can't move. This is my line right here. She can't pass this line right now. Right? So she's learning about door open, being brushed. She's unsure because she never practiced this much discipline.
Both Sadie and Harley need boundaries, and those boundaries need to be set by pack leaders.
Like right now, I'm letting him test, how far can he go away from me? I'm giving, a little leash for it. Just for him to feel there is no tension. But watch what happens if he moved towards. It's a correction. It's a correction right away to let him know that behavior that you just did is unwanted.
Gotcha. So it's a tug on the...
Well, it snaps him out of it. It really removes the brain from keep moving forward to the next step.
Gets their attention.
That's it. I'm not mad at him. I'm not angry at him. I'm just creating a boundary. This is your boundaries. You can't move towards. This is mine. So one thing is, she was able to run away from me. That's the part that she doesn't know not to do yet. She knows that if I catch her, there's a consequence. That's the only part she knows. So dogs don't rationalize. They don't understand the concept of what we're trying to do. They just put the two and two together, depending on how it happened. So if it happened here, and they say, okay, I can't get out of the door. But if it happens over there, oh, he's gonna discipline me if he catch me over there. So the whole point is we need to catch her here in order for her to understand the concept that we're trying to accomplish, which is not to run away from the door.
Dogs need rules, boundaries, and limitations, both at home and on walks, which brings us back to Dixie.
Ooh. Hi, Cindy. I see you have a little problem here.
I have a little problem with walking Dixie.
Yeah? Tell me the problem.
Well, she can't seem to take a walk on a leash.
Okay.
She just can't. She knows that there's dogs lurking somewhere, or squirrels, or rabbits, or anything lurking out there that she needs to get.
So she's hunting?
She's kind of has a hunting behavior. But she's also wanting to go get whatever it is that she thinks is there, especially dogs.
Okay. And the dogs, she just went out. Destroyed.
Yeah, she acts that way.
Yeah. So when she's on the leash, that's when she becomes unstable. No leash, she's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see how you do it.
Okay.
I'm going to observe, and then I can give you some pointers.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Let me see.
Let's go. Come. So we have...
This is typical?
This is typical. This is why I can't walk her. I just put her in the car and take her to the dog park. There's dogs back there.
Right.
So she's
Cindy doesn't provide leadership to Dixie when they're on a walk. Another problem that Cindy shares with many other dog lovers: if you pick up a dog that is under stress, you are only going to intensify or nurture that behavior. Just like you need to create rules at home, you also need to set rules when you go on a walk. I'm going to show you how I would do it.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the collar that we have, see how it works with her. Normally, I recommend that you can use anything from a 35-cent leash to any tool you feel is humane and helps to empower you. Also, my wife Ilusion and I recently created the Illusion collar, which is something we designed that keeps the collar high on the neck, where you can have the most control over your dog. This is the softest part of the neck, so it's easier to redirect the mind instead of having it here. See, here is this is the pulling area of the dog. So when you have a harness, that's what it was meant for pulling or tracking purpose. So it would be easier to redirect the mind of a dog if we control him from the neck, because the mother controls him from the neck. No, the mother comes, grabs him, do the whole thing. In the beginning, I like to challenge them without the owner, because the owner influenced them a lot, you know, from a different point of view. So you are a follower into her eyes, so I want to create leadership.
okay.
Okay? So, what we want to create right now is to slow the brain down. This is the first time she's wearing the collar, so we're going to see a little bit of that behavior. We don't want her to escalate too much. Slowly, slowly. Stay calm. It's typical that they might try to release the frustration. This is good. It's just coming down very nicely. Notice how I give Dixie a correction just as she starts to react, before her behavior can escalate into something much worse. One of the exercises that she needs to learn is, hey, sit down. She needs to learn to avoid dogs barking. It's important for us to give her something else to do. Well, what she really wants to do is to go and attack those dogs to release her frustration from being on a leash. Sometimes the leash becomes a negative. Right now, we are creating a positive experience on a leash. So right now, we are confronting her or allowing her to face being next to dogs without her going ballistic. So, as you see, she's experiencing a great state of mind right now. What we're asking her is to avoid. Fight, flight, avoidance, submission. We're asking her to avoid. That becomes a challenge. What she wanted to do is fight. What we're creating is avoidance. Now we're going to get closer in order for her to challenge herself a little bit more. Right there. Correction right away. No hesitation. This is good. Smelling is good. Relax. Looking at the dogs is good. But if she's looking at the dogs this way, correction right away. Consequence. There have to be a consequence right away. Otherwise, they get the idea that it's okay to practice this. Right now, it's okay to practice. See it? So when we behave, when we ask our dog to behave in a different manner, the rest of the dogs will behave different as well. We're not projecting bad energy, so we don't get bad energy back. They're doing their job. This is their territory. They're letting us know you're passing by our house. So our job is to respect, or our goal is to ask our dogs to learn to respect passing by new territories. So that's what she's learning right now. And everybody goes to sleep.